All right, welcome, welcome, welcome. It's been a minute. Um, Small disclaimer, two small disclaimers. Uh, with the sun in Gemini right now and my whole affinity to Earth versus air, I'm not sure how much sense I'm going to make. Stacked with the fact that I am getting over a cold, so I don't know. Like I have water handy. My voice may start going during this whole thing, so just bear with me if you are here. Again, it took me a bit to set up, as it's been a few weeks, and par for the course of that. I always feel like I'm explaining because it's like something happens that I'm not able to keep up, and I'm always having to kind of take a break here and there. But such is life, and things happening in my own relative reality tend to catch up to me to where I don't have the time to do the things that I enjoy doing, my hobby things. Um, Sorry, it's also kind of hard. Like I said, I'm getting over a cold, so I'm gonna be very close to. I'm gonna be laughing a lot during this. I already know. I'm gonna be very close to the ball during this whole stream. So just again, thank you for watching today. And if you haven't, go ahead follow the 5XL. You'll find that link in the video provided here. A lot of exciting things happening over there. Always the best place to get all your entertainment. Not just your weekly light streams, but also up to date news, sports, video games, entertainment, everything, comedy, all kinds of stuff. There's really nothing that they're not doing. So, with that out of the way, and to further kind of reiterate that things have been going on, my family personally has been going through some inner struggles, as well as my community has been going through inner struggles. And now that all of that has kind of not been absolved, but is in a place where I'm not constantly having to catch my breath with a text or a phone call that so and so is doing okay, or so and so is doing all right. And I don't like to name names because it's my own relative reality. But I just want to take a moment, and I do understand that a lot has been happening across the spectrum for all of us these past few weeks. Huge shifts in not just day to day life, but our way of living day to day has shifted tremendously. We've had these leaps and bounds. If we weren't pushed up against a precipice, we have definitely fallen into the new life as it is, if you will. And we're currently living that new reality and adjusting and coming to terms with what this is going to be for the next season. So with that being said, I just want to go silent for a minute and just in respect and honor of everything everybody's gone through. If you have something that you've been struggling with in your mind, go ahead and think on it now and just be grateful for who you are and where you are and every moment and every day that you've taken to this point. So, all right. Um, and along with prayers, thoughts and prayers, a lot of me and my close circle, we like to kind of joke, thoughts and prayers, like what is that gonna do? I can't sit here as somebody who believes in manifestation and breaking through with the power of thought if I didn't stand back and say, what, thoughts and prayers, if anything, is a call to action. And whether or not you answer that call to action, I think is where the kind of rhetoric that it does nothing because a lot of people don't really know how to take that follow up step. So, I mean, if you are going through something or if you do notice something happening, do your research. I mean, we are in the season of Gemini right now, which is an air symbol, so we are like being beckoned to raise our thought vibrations, our scholastic vibrations, and do our research into the things that kind of go to the wayside as far as what's being done about everything. And that's I told you this was gonna be hard for me to articulate with so many things going on right now. But things that get pushed to the wayside as far as the path less traveled, and not even so much that is just something that hasn't been tried yet, or a new way of thinking outside of the box, And that's, I don't want to say that comes easy for Geminis, because I'm not even sure that they realize they do that. Shout out to all my Gemini friends. Happy birthday. I just read you to Phil. I love your Capricorn cousin. But I think with the sun affixed in Gemini right now, there is definitely that in all of us, we can all do our research into the shadow work or shadow self, or the hard way of doing things, or maybe it's not even that. Maybe it's the way that could have been easier if you would have just looked a little deeper into it. And I hope I'm getting this point that I'm trying to get across is it's again, it's outside of the box thinking that's going to be required here to move past that wall of you're just hoping for the best. Because in honesty, in all reality, it doesn't do much to just hope for the best, especially when it's in your power to do things like, get in touch with, somebody on somebody else's behalf. If it's a broader issue, say it's, something to do with your city, your state, you can do your research to be ready for the next election and your next officials. And, so again, it's broadening your awareness into the areas in your world around yourself that you wouldn't have looked at twice this time last time that something like this was brought up. And it could be anything. What's coming to the front of my mind is like gun control, the kids being shot in that school, which is awful, and so it's like we all put out this outpour of emotional, distress and disgust for the state of affairs, but really what's being done up beyond that. And so again, if you want to see that change, you have to be the change. You have to, research, call your governor. For me personally, I have a friend who's having a hard time finding stable living. I live in the state of Nevada, and I called the governor's office, and I've never thought to do that, but I did it, you know what I mean? And it's actually got some really good information about stuff that not only he could do, but information I could pass along that could possibly help somebody. Because who would think to even, look beyond that? We kind of sit in our ways, and we think, oh crap, we're screwed. But you're never screwed. You're only as screwed as you believe you are. So again, that's that thought process that's going to have to push its own bounds into the awareness that's the new reality. And there's so many avenues available to do that. There's scholastic learning, there's spiritual learning, there's financial higher learning. You don't have to go take out like $100,000 in student loans. It's all pretty much accessible. It's the new world we live in, and it's wonderful if you look at it that way. It's also very, very dangerous if you look at it that way. But they're both the same equally, simultaneously. Am I making sense? Gemini season, what? If you haven't been yourself too, that's also that Gemini side of yourself. That shadow side of us likes to play in this season, and you kind of find yourself like, wow, I've never done this before. Or, why am I doing this? That's your shadow self saying, well, I've been wanting to do this, and you kept denying me and kept denying me and kept denying me. So now I'm just going to take over, so to speak. Like, not to say that everybody has a split personality, but we definitely have that side of us that's a lot more withdrawn and more subdued. throughout our processes for just carrying out day-to-day activity. So the Gemini season does beckon us to kind of let that part of ourselves, or those parts of ourselves that we kind of push down and think, God, nobody wants to see that side of me. Like, we kind of let that show a little more, and we don't even think about it. Like I said, Geminis don't even realize they do it. It's just something that comes very naturally, that they can, switch lanes between their light and their dark, and it's really cool. If you have Gemini friends or you're a Gemini yourself, you probably know exactly what I'm talking about. And to the rest of the world, it comes off as sort of hot and cold, but to them it's well, you never took the time to learn about that side of me. You never took the time to really see all that represents myself. You just kind of cherry picked the best parts of my personality, and now that you're sitting with this other half, now you're telling me we have a problem. Like, tell me that doesn't hit home. Like, I'm struggling to make air come out of my throat. Hold on. Oh my God, I feel like I sound like Oprah Winfrey. This is awful. I'm not Oprah Winfrey. Whoopi Goldberg. That's who I am right now. Sorry, excuse me. I'm Whoopi Goldberg right now in this live stream. I probably sound like it. Anyways, just to go over some other things that I found profound during my time away, and as I did that sort of soul searching and that deep diving into myself again, as I was dealing with external things that kind of required my attention so that they went more smoothly. Could they have gone without my help? Of course. Like, I'm not that, I'm a little more humble than that to just say, I want to help you just to help you. Again, that goes into further reason why I don't really like to name drop or say who or what. If you know, you know. But one of those things that was pretty profound was I was going over with a friend, just a lot of stuff that was bothering me. I'm at this problem having with this, that problem I'm having with that. So my friend very eloquently said, have you ever tried not having problems? And even as I'm saying it, I can still see myself in their car on the freeway, like, light bulb going off, seeing the light, having this aha moment. So if we really pick that apart, like, have you ever tried that? Have you ever tried not having problems? And what does that mean? It doesn't mean that problems just dissipate, that they just go away on their own. What it really boils down to is not having them. So I'm not going to take ownership of these problems in my life. They're there, but the problem becomes less of an obstacle because I will always be the solution. That's what I own. That's what I have. I have solutions. I am the solution. So, again, it's like, it's dropping all of this unnecessary, self-sabotaged, whatever that word is, self-sabotaging, sabotagizing, I'm sorry, way of thinking, and you have all of this excess, just, you drop it, and you no longer have ownership of it, and you step over it, and then you're like, oh, life is top-notch again. Life is manageable again. So I have solutions for my finances. I have solutions for my relationships. I am the solution for my progression into the world that I want to be living in. I am the progression and the solution for anything that may come my way that leads me at an impasse. If I am the solution, then there will never be an impasse. I'll never have an issue, because I know that the more that I identify with being the solution, stay with me, the more I identify with being the solution, the more it absolves the succumbing to problems. If I have a problem with overeating, if I just try to solve that, and I just become the solution to overeating. That's going to take me leaps and bounds. So again, it's taking it from thought into action. It's taking it from I hope I can do this to I am doing this. And that's profound. And so again, to kind of wrap that up in a pretty bow, stop having your problems. Like they're not yours. So drop them and start having your solutions. And again, it's that verbiage that's going to speak to the ascended self, the real you, that's going to close the gap to the real you. I'm here and I'm ready to solve it because I am the solution. And I hope that resonates. Moving forward, I'm so glad I wrote stuff down. I remember a friend of mine was getting me into tarot reading, and at first I was like, tarot? You want to read your tarot? But a card that came up, and I thought it was so beautiful, was the Queen of Pentacles. And when I looked at this card, I saw the woman giving coins to these poor children. And I thought to myself, my God, I really try to be that girl. Like, I really try to be this figure of, hope when there's none. I try to be that all the time for people. Like, when they're at their bare minimum, that silver lining usually is me stepping into the room and saying, don't worry, we're going to figure this out. But I can't be that all the time, and none of us can be that all the time. And if anybody were ever to have been able to be that all the time, it was Jesus. And it's been a long time since Jesus, so I think it's admitting to yourself that you're also not just the queen who has it all to give, but you're also these needy children who also need to be given to. And now, that's also very profound, and I'm going to let it sit for a minute. Not only are we called to give and give without expectation, we are also equally called to be given to and to be receiving without expectation. Again, I know this is a hard concept for some people when they hear it, but you can receive without expectation. I wasn't expecting them to give me this much, but oh my God, did I need it. And it can be more than just finance, but being that it's Pinnacle, it's usually something of tangible value. But just that, it could be shelter. It could be a jacket on a cold night. It could be a bottle of water on a hot day. Something. And that was so profound to me. So again, it's putting that balance into perspective. Like, a lot of times we pour ourselves into people until we are so empty that we are now the ones starving. We are the ones dying of thirst. And we are like, I'm not starving, but but we are emotionally pouring into people. We are spiritually pouring into people. We are mentally pouring into people who cannot hold themselves. And so, again, it's like, where do we go? Well, sometimes just stand back and look for your support team. Sometimes we get so absolved into helping that we are not available to be helped. And that can lead into this very dark place where you're just completely ignorant and you're cut off and you think you can do it all with the hands that God graced you with and the feet to walk you there, until your feet are busted. Your knees are crippling and buckling under the pressure and the weight of everybody's expectation that you will always be there. So it's time to step back and let somebody else be there for you. I can't tell you how appreciative that I've been lately for my partner, who has really helped me to coining this and practicing this. that I can ask him for these financial things, it's not comfortable for me to say. Because I'm a strong one that don't need nobody. You know what? Hold on. I'm going to call him right now and ask him who he's with. No, I'm just kidding. um, so just to kind of bring that all the way back around, sometimes we are the giving without expectation, and sometimes you're the receiver without expectation. But it's the without expectation part that can make or break this, duality, this paradigm. Because once you place expectation on it, I know he has the money, so I know that they have a place, or I know that she has a car. Why can't she give me a ride? Or you know what I mean? It ruins it. It befuddles all of the humanity within yourself, and it robs the person of the charity that they have available to give because of your expectation that you need it to be given. And how dare they not give it to you? In the same respect, when you give with expectation and you expect, well, if I do this for you now, I can quid pro quo and I'll expect something from you later in return. And again, it turns it into more of a transaction. So again, you rob yourself of that good karma, of that good charity, that high favor that comes with doing these things without expectation. You see what I'm saying? And it does take a little bit of faith on your part to know that it does come back to you. 10-fold, 20-fold, 100-fold. So just sort of ruminate on that. So we already went over the sun being in Gemini. We did not go over that. I'm going to have to Lysol everything in here. It is not COVID, by the way. Negative. God, never in my queer life did I ever think I would be sharing positive or negative results with a orientational, ambiguous audience. So let's talk about what's going on celestially. And so here's the thing there. It's been a minute, and a lot has happened celestially. And when I say we have literally fallen off that cliff and rolled down the hill and, bumped our head on every rock down the way and we are laying broken, that is exactly what I mean. And what I mean by that is the way that we were thinking how life really worked, our way of getting and doing and having, and what we believe in, and the organized religional stuff and the organized spiritual stuff has all been dropped on the floor. And we're currently just picking it up, and we're looking at stuff like it's not been looked at in 20 years, thinking, God, I've been carrying this whole time. I'm just going to leave it. I'm just going to leave that. This is so heavy. I'm just going to leave that. It's a time to we are all heading into this new direction with these new thoughts and this new progressive way of thinking that what can I give? And that may be jumping the gun, because that is something that's happening globally. But if you are up to par on your spiritual cultivation up to this point in reality, on the cutting edge of reality, what can you give? Be it wisdom, be it finance, time. Can you give space? Physical presence. All of these things right now are being called from us individually as a planet. So it's no longer what we know, and it's no longer what we've been feeling, because we've had enough of what we've been feeling. It's been tainted by kind of gatekeeping by how we're feeling. And I don't even need to say it, because psychically you're already picking up on what I'm putting down. So again, that gatekeeping from what we're feeling is no longer safe. So now we want to know, well, if it's not about what I feel, then let me know what I can give And again, this isn't to rectify anything, it's just to offer peace. So right now the world is offering peace. And we see that globally. It's happening in America with stimulus checks, and around the globe with, stay-at-home initiatives, and it's happening in China the way it's happening in China. But it's where we are now, and that's leaving everything behind because you're giving it to whoever will find it. That eclipse, the lunar eclipse in Scorpio, that blood moon was basically just mind warping. We were all this is going to be a little woo woo, but I don't care. We're going to talk about it. There's a dimensional rift that we all went through, okay? Gosh, I love it. That I could just say that. Whatever. Yes. So I'm not talking about like Doctor Who. We're all getting into the what is the thing he gets into? Gosh, how old am I? The phone booth. AT&T. That's how old I am. Wow. AT&T. That is how old I am. That I remember AT&T. But yeah, it's not like we suddenly, jumped from one existence to another. We don't realize what that truly means to jump dimensional awareness. And that's really all it is. It's your awareness has changed. The quantum reality has changed in that we have gone from emotional gatekeeping into the grace of giving. So sit with that for a moment. We've gone from emotional gatekeeping to the grace of giving. And so that was that gateway in Scorpio, which is death, the new beginning. I hope that I'm not sounding ominous, because it's really not ominous. It's actually exciting, because I don't think of death as like this scary, abrupt thing. I think of it as sort of you go from to the other. Like everything changes, so we're constantly changing. So it's only natural that we change and we become, and we change and we become, and we change and we become. So I don't know if this is a good thing that I preface this with. I don't know if I'm going to make sense, but if you're really like scratching your head at this right now, I told you in the beginning, this may not make sense. So just to again go over it, that's kind of where we've been these past few weeks, and we've all just been readjusting and resetting. The Mercury retrograde just ended, is about to be fully behind us as of June 2nd, and that was our chance to kind of catch our breath and be okay with this new paradigm that we're in. And so in that sense, we look back and we see, God, I did that. I really did that. That's what this last retrograde was. I really did that. I can't believe I did that. Look at me go. Like, pat yourself on the back if you're had a moment where you looked at everything you've achieved in your life, and I don't care if it's imposter syndrome is overwhelming you right now. You did that. You got over it. You got through it. You put that down and you walked away from it. You did that. So, good on you. Keep going. Because it's not easy. Going into the more current things, though, and where we are currently. Social prominence starts today. So get in touch with your friends. Be very aware of abuse of power. So again, this is more along the lines of if people depend on you. Again, we'll call back to that discussion we had about expectational giving and receiving. It's probably going to be highlighted there. So just be very aware of your motivations when doing whatever it is you're doing. And if you're an employer, if you're a teacher, or if you're in any kind of like leadership role, hold yourself accountable, please, and do not use those that you are leading as scapegoats, because you can really take the opportunity to cultivate a real foundation for teamwork if you just take a little bit of time to do it. And that just takes a little bit of extra time with the people that you're trying to build up. And that's not to say give passes to people, because when people when people mess something up, they mess it up for themselves. And let's be honest, like, that's always going to be a thing. But in this climate right now, it's important to double check. Did they really mess up, or did they not know what they were doing to begin with? And maybe if they did, it can be corrected. Because in today's, I'm really talking about employment right now, because in today's society, if it can be corrected and you're just telling them they're wrong, most chances are they're just going to find another job, because it's out there right now. Battling feelings of compulsiveness is also in the air. But that's going to be kind of coming to an end if you've been spending excessively, doing anything excessively, just excessively. That's coming to an end today. So, I mean, for me, I've been recovering excessively, and I still need to do that. Like I said, I'm over it, but there's still this lingering, chain smoker effect to my voice. It's not cute. And the last one is maintaining control. And poster child, we're holding it on. We're holding on for dear life, and we're keeping it together by the seams. Oh my gosh. So some moon transits for the day. Help others help you. If you can get a chance to break away, then do that. Toughen up where you need to. And at the end of the day, when you're all alone, just withdraw into yourself. Do something nice for yourself. Play some music. Play some video games. Make yourself a cocktail. Do whatever it is you do to unplug. Is a great night for it tonight. Especially like this hang time between, spring and summer. Ideal. So like we were talking about, the sun is in Gemini. So again, just expect yourself to do what you don't expect yourself to do, and be okay with it. Really be okay with it, because that other part of you exists, and you can't live your whole life, with that part of yourself behind closed doors, chained up for to be hidden from the rest of the world for the rest of your life, because somebody told you they didn't like that about you when you were 6. Like, celebrate yourself. The sun is in Gemini, so it's if you can accept those parts of yourself, you won't miss out on being in this warm tropical climate, like breeze. It's a wonderful thing to do. It's a wonderful time to be alive when you are full peace with yourself and all parts of yourself, and you invite the world to know all of those parts of yourself. It's scary, but it's worth it. Trust me. Mars in Aries. Wow. So it just leads back into, if it's worth it, it's worth it. So go after it. And again, this is sort of coming full circle after all of this like dialogue about how hard it's been. I mean, we are in a world that is literally at war today. So it's very appropriate for Mars to be in Aries right now. It's very appropriate to be fighting right now. But again, whenever I see Mars comes up, or Aries comes up, it always leads me back to the question, what did you fight for? Who are you the champion for? And that's really what's important. Who did you champion for? And what side were you on? And whatever your reasons are, and whatever that is, I hope that in your mind, it's something that's worth it. I'm so sorry. Venus is in Taurus, so this is very feminine Taurus energy. It's very giving. It's the pasture is always green. The milk is always given. So, in all of this fire energy happening around you, just know whatever you need, your bare necessities, trust, you will be all right. And where you reside will be where you reside comfortably. So be there comfortably, and don't try not to stress out with everything going on around you. Remember, it's all external, and we can get very much wrapped up into what's happening externally, and it robs us of the peace we have within, and especially robs us of the order that we have at home. So make sure that you take the time to establish that order in your home, and be that your physical body or where you fall asleep at night. But make sure that there is order there, and do everything in your power to maintain it. Also, spruce it up. That's what Venus and Taurus is saying. Spruce up your house. Move the furniture around. Like, it's time. Current retrogrades are Pluto and Capricorn. So, that's probably why I'm so foggy today. Like, that is my sun and my moon turned it on its head. So it's being for the best articulation. It's being in a dark room for a long time, being shoved out into the sun and being told to go outside and touch grass. Like, that's kind of where I'm at right now. Send help! I'm blinking. Send help! No. So just be aware that that could be you. Like, again, like, it's a little bit of the cuckoo season, and I'm definitely feeling it because, one, I've been through a terrible cold. I've been highly medicated, and I'm done. So, I mean, it is what it is. So that's the retrograde of Pluto in Capricorn. So Mercury in retrograde in Gemini, and like I said, that'll break up around June 2nd. It actually ends officially the 3rd, but it's going to be pervading through that night. Again, we are just appreciating all of this hard effort that we've done to take care of ourselves, and not just our situation, but who we are is changed. So look back at that journey. And again, pat yourself on the back because you did that. Like we were talking about earlier. So upcoming moons are a new moon in Gemini. So again, it's just an extension of the changing of your thoughts. So that's, again, it's just the settling in of this new way of thinking. And following with a full moon in Sagittarius. So that's when we're really going to give it our all. And we are now in the big arena, and we're going to do it big. So shoot your shot with this full moon in Sagittarius, because it will really count for something as big as you think. And I'm going to really articulate that there. As big as you think. So think big. And if you think you're thinking big, think bigger. Because bigger is bigger. Where was I? Oh yeah. Let me just. I think I went over everything today. So some ways that we can kind of, attempt to provide kind of a jump start on all of these, forthcoming action-oriented endeavors. And again, it's action-oriented. Is if it thrills you, chase it. And I know it's like, you always hear that out there, don't chase anything. No, if it gives you the thrill, if it makes you excited, truly excited, it's worth it. Go after it. There's ley lines. I love that term. Shout out to my girl Jen C. She turned me on to that term. I'm following the ley lines. I love that. But chase those ley lines, because they are leading you to this next involvement with that which you truly desire. If you know, then you kind of know. I don't know how to articulate. Well, it's like those little whispers that come to your mind that say, you know, be here, do this, do that. And if that doesn't happen for you, then private message me and we can talk about it. Some ways to kind of initiate that chasing is acknowledgments. So acknowledge what you're excited about and acknowledge what you're kind of faking that you're excited about. Let's be real. Plan ahead. This could be financial, this could be business, this could be your health. But what is all of that going to look like, 3 months down the road, 6 months down the road? And what are you doing to initiate the change that you want to see? So plan ahead. And just be ready to pull a trick out of your hat. Rabbit out of your hat. Gosh, I love it. So with that, I'm going to pull a card here. And my Oracle deck is at work. So I pulled the the 9 of Wands from this card today. And if we look at it, and yes, this is a tarot card, so if you're not really with tarot, then I totally get it that you want to stop here. I'm not going to brush anybody, especially those who are protecting themselves spiritually from anything purveying for any reason. It's a tarot card. Just want that to be fully disclaimed before I start giving this divination. So this tarot card, the 9 of Wands, and this man is standing there injured, holding up his wand after he has painstakingly erected the other wands. And what this card is really saying is there is a lot of effort that goes into setting up for success. There's so much that we don't see about this man's journey. There's so much that we don't account for by seeing him there broken after all of the work he's done. And that's kind of where we're all at right now. Nobody can tell us where we've been because only we know. Nobody can assume anything about us except that we look haggard because of how much we've had to endure to be where we are with the success that we have, be it small or grand. Appreciate yourself for all of that work because only you know where you've gone through, where you've been and what you've gone through to get where you are today. This card is about being persistent. It's about enduring. It's about overcoming when you're broken. And what were we talking about earlier? That the universe has literally thrown us off of a cliff down a hill, a steep one at that. But we will rise again. And we will ascend to the next peak from the previous valley like we always do. Because that is all life is a series of valleys and peaks, highs and lows, frequency. You are your own biorhythm. I'm probably reading too much into it at this point, but you get the picture. The picture of this broken man doing all he can to set up for what he will do. All right. You guys, I'm going to be signing off now. It's been a rough couple of weeks. I kind of caught myself in this hang time between, crazy stuff happening to crazy stuff happening to, oh my God, crazy stuff is happening. So hopefully I'll be back soon with another update and we'll catch up again. Remember to go follow the 5XL if you haven't done that already. You can find all of these on the 5XL. You can also find all of these on my YouTube channel at Saturnal Kiss. And you can also follow me at Seraphim Ultima. And you can also follow me over at TikTok at Saturnal702. Alright, I'm planning on doing some more stuff with that TikTok. Right now it's mostly just motivation, but I'm going to try doing some live stuff like this. Just kind of an even more open dialogue. Possibly some tongue drumming. But yeah, look out for all that. And on that note, you guys have a wonderful rest of your day. And go into it and be blessed.